There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name. Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino is the Name, and this video has been requested by multiple people multiple times. So in this video, we're going to talk about, in the event that you're laid off from work, what should you do? What should you be doing right now just in case you end up being laid off from work? Now, there are a couple things that I would be doing. Well, shoot, hell, I am doing. And this doesn't matter if you work for, say, the federal government or if you work for a private industry. I would still be doing these things. Even if you have your own business, I mean, you still maybe should be doing some of these things anyway, because I think some of these things that I'm going to suggest are universal. So one of the things that I'm going to suggest that people do, and in case you don't know, I am an accountant, right? And of course, during more sensible times, maybe this advice would be different, you know? But we are not in those times, okay? So, of course, we want to still plan for the long term. Hopefully, everything works out the way you have it planned. Hopefully, the career that you set out, that you're in, nothing really changes. But this is the first time that I would say play the short game. Okay, if you know me, if anybody knows me who's watching this, you'll know that I always say play the long game. Always play the long game. That was my advice for many, many years. Well, up until about a month ago. So my advice is no longer to just play the long game. And the long game, me saying that means that always think about down the road. Always planning for the time down the road, not so much for the right now, as far as like short term, you know, a year, 2 years, 5 years. No, I'm talking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. Of course, nothing is promised. Tomorrow is not promised. I understand that. But that is the game that we're playing. We're not playing the game of 2 years from now. We're not playing that game. No. We're thinking about long-term investing. Where do you want to be when you retire? Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be in 20 years? We're not looking at 6 months from now. At least we weren't, but we are now, okay? So fundamentally, I am pre-programmed to think about the long game. I can't help it. I never, you know, because the long game lets you know where you need to be today, right? So if you were saying, okay, in 30 years, I'm going to be 70 or I'm going to be 60 and I want to have this much land, I want to have a house like this, I want to drive this kind of car, then it'll kind of let you know where you need to be today, right? So that's why I always really focused on like the long game, because the long game really controlled the short term. And we still need to play the long game, right? We still need to still think about further down the road. But in today's world, we need to really think about the short term in a very different way. The short term is now more important. Well, not more important, but it is so important that it is neck and neck with the long game, okay? So we need to be thinking about what the next 3, 6, 1 year, 2 years looks like. We need to really be thinking about that. We need to be planning. We, you know, of course, it'll be great if we can plan for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You know, you used to be able to land a particular job in a particular career field and just stay there and work your way up in that space. But these are very uncertain times. People who have long careers have their careers coming to an abrupt halt. You know, jobs are being completely erased that used to be dependable to count on for future growth in a particular career field or on a particular career path. But currently, that none of those things are true or accurate if that was a part of your long-term goal. We don't know. It's too much uncertainty. We don't know if jobs are going to come back. We don't know if there will be a mass hiring again like there have been in the past, many times in the past. We don't know. It's just so much uncertainty. And so if you're faced with that, then you got to kind of just look at what the things that you can control and the things that you can do. So first off, we need to assess where our finances are right now. And we need to try to get if you have any debts, you need to try to pay off as much as you can, or at least store up as much money as you can. Like, let's say you're not able to pay off your house tomorrow. Most people aren't. I'm not, okay? I'm not able to pay my house off tomorrow. But maybe you need to prepare for a rough patch, right? So, of course, maybe you can't pay your house off. Maybe you can't pay your car note off. I mean, like maybe you have a $30,000 car note, $20,000 car note. Maybe you can't just go pull the money out and just pay that car off right now. But maybe you can save up enough money, right? Like, let's say maybe you don't have $30,000 to put down, but let's say your car note is $500 a month. $500 a month times 12 months, that's $6,000, all right? So $6,000 is what maybe you might want to save up, or maybe $3,000 to cover your car note for those 6 months, $6,000 to cover your car note for the full year, okay? But you want to give yourself a cushion. If you can't afford to pay these things off, start saving up and storing money, liquid cash. Stack it up as best you can in order to have some sort of reserves just in case. That's one thing. You got to assess your finances and see where you are. Also, if you live in an apartment, start planning on maybe moving in with somebody, letting that apartment go and moving in with family, or taking on a roommate, or speaking to people who you could see yourself living with, and maybe you guys help each other out by moving in together. And of course, if you have a mortgage or something like that, stack up as much money as you can if you can't pay your mortgage in advance or something like that. And I wouldn't necessarily suggest pay your mortgage in advance, because unless you're paying your mortgage off, I'd still want to just have the cash as best I could, because we just don't know what this thing is going to look like. So try to have as much liquid cash as possible. Liquid cash, I'm just referring to cash that's not tied up into something, right? Like if you invested $10,000 into something versus having just that $10,000 in an account, then that's a very different thing. So, because maybe you're not able to pull that money that you invested, and you need to use that money, that $10,000. Maybe you need to use that $10,000 to pay your mortgage for a couple months or something like that. So I would say get as liquid as you can and try to save up some money towards paying your bills for several months, or if you can afford to pay them off, then pay them off. Because what we need to do, we need to get as prepared for what may be coming as possible. We don't know what's coming. I made a video a while back before all of this craziness was happening, and I said, prepare. Things is about to get crazy. And it got crazier than even I was expecting, all right? So yes, I would say do that. get as liquid as possible, start getting your finances together, assessing your situation, see how much money you can, you can either have, try to have the least amount of money going out as possible. Two, of course, save up, stack up, but maybe see if there's some side hustle that you can do. If you can't add a side hustle, I understand. A lot of people think that it's simple to add a side hustle, and it might be simple for some people, but for many people, it is not a very easy thing. And I know people say it, but it's not that easy for a lot of people to just add a side business or a side hustle that's making sense for them to do. It's not as easy as people say it is, but it is doable. But even if you can't, there's another way to increase income in your house, and that is by, drum roll please, by cutting back costs on other things. That's an instant raise. If you cut out your $5 a day, $6 a day Starbucks, so you're spending $6 a day, 5 days a week, that's $30, right? So over the course of 4 weeks, let's say you do it 4 weeks, $120 right there, that you could add that to your savings. Now, I know most people don't want to cut back on the things that they like. That's just an example, though. You know what I'm saying? That's just an example. That trip that you were getting ready to go on, or you go out of town every 2 months or 3 months or something, maybe you don't take those trips. I know it's uncomfortable and it's unfortunate because you were used to doing those things, but I cut back on some of those things and just stack up some of that money because we just still don't know. It's a lot of things that could be happening, but just stack up some of that money, prepare yourself, because who knows what's going to happen out here. Also, if you lose a job, you need to get new income coming in immediately. So you can choose starting a business, or you can choose to go and work at another job. Easiest one is probably to go find another job. It's probably the easiest. It may not be ideal for everybody. But neither is being an entrepreneur is not necessarily ideal for everybody either. So, getting another job might be the fastest way, unless you already kind of have an idea of how to run your own business, or how to something that you can make money from, or you're just extremely lucky. Being an entrepreneur might be the way for you. But I'd say for the most people, getting another job would probably be the best thing that you might be able to do. And it might be very hard coming soon. That might be very difficult with all of these new people going into the job market and things like that. It might be extremely difficult. But I think that getting a job will probably be the easiest way to start getting money coming back into the house. How do you get another job, especially a good paying job? On the civilian workforce, your resume is your calling card. That is your access to getting more money, or getting the job, is through, having a proper resume, working on your interview skills. I would start today working on your interview skills, getting your wardrobe together. I just bought 4 new suits, okay? I just bought 4 new suits. And I'm going to interchange them. And I already had suits and stuff already, but I just bought 4 new suits. So I can, you know what I'm saying? I can dress it up. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking about what happens if I have to start going on interviews. Not only do I want to dress up for work anyway, to maybe go higher in whatever my situation is, but what if I have to go to do interviews back to back? You know what I'm saying? I'm preparing for those things. So I'm taking that time to get my stuff together. And I'm going to be reviewing my resume and some other people's resumes and stuff like that. But you want to continue working on your resume, making it the best version that you can make it. And you want to still do those things like that. So if you're going to be an entrepreneur, try to get into something that has a short curve, a short transition period, because remember, the point of this is initially we're playing the short game. We are trying to satisfy the bills and keep up with this current inflation and maintain a certain quality of life, which could be changing for everybody, because we don't know how much the price of gas is going to go to the price of eggs. I guess that's what everybody's concerned with. But we don't know what rent and mortgages are going to be. I mean, there are people who are saying the mortgages are doubling. And so to go from $1,500 a month to $3,000 a month, to go from $2,000 a month to go to $4,000 a month, it's crazy. In a blink of an eye, they're doubling. And so, of course, not everybody's going to be living through those, everybody's not going to have the same experiences, but we don't know. The whole point of this is we don't know what's coming, right? We're just preparing for what it could be. So whatever you're going to transition into, look for whatever you may be required to transition into, because not everybody's going to be required to, but in case you do, in case of a layoff, which is what the point of this video is, you want to have a plan that you can transition into to start generating money as soon as possible. So don't start looking at anything, any business that is going to be a 3-year time frame before you start generating anything, right? Not if you're not able to pay your bills. I understand your business might operate at a loss, but you in your life cannot afford to operate at a loss. You need to be able to generate money and to pay the bills, to keep the kids fed, to keep the lights on, to keep the air conditioner running. You need to be able to make money. And so you need to be thinking about things that have a short transition period if you're going to start a business, so that you can start making money. But all of these things are still with a long-term goal, still in place, but you need to really be focusing on short-term right now. Short-term is our focus, okay? So get your suits together, get your dresses together, whatever it is that you wear, get your professional attire together, get your resume together. And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, start today looking at industries that you can start transitioning to, learning as much as you can, day in, day out. You can start getting a certification if you decide that you want to be a plumber or you want to be an electrician, or I don't know how long the process is between being a plumber or electrician, but find something that you can maybe transition into in the next 2 to 3 months. I know that seems like not a lot of things, but you can be a registered mediator. You can probably be an arbitrator, depending on what your situation is. It's things that you can do. You can get your real estate license. It's things that you can do. And I'm not saying that real estate, being an agent is a great thing, but it can be for you. There's some very successful real estate agents who just jumped into it and they became very, very successful. I know some. And so, but you just still want to have a backup plan. Whatever it is, you need to be prepared to hit the ground running, okay? As best you can, all right? Get you a professional resume writer or something like that. But whatever it is, start looking into, even if it's going to be another job that you may have to transition into, look at the jobs that you might be interested in doing. Talk to the people who who are working in those industries. Meet the recruiters who may recruit for said type of occupations. Talk to them, find out what they see coming up. All these things you can do right now. You can get on LinkedIn, and there's recruiters on there for particular industries, and you can reach out to those recruiters. Jump on the phone with them. If you are like me and you got a top secret clearance, then maybe you start exploring some of those avenues. But you got to have a real plan. But I have a ton of ideas of things that people can do. This is just a little bit so that maybe it can start getting the thoughts going. Anyway, if you find any value in this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we out. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name.